Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off this presentation with you today. On this first slide, we see the title, Win Through Your Actions, Never Through Argument. This is Law 9 from the 48 Laws of Power. Over the next few slides, we'll explore key principles and strategies to help you understand how to effectively wield power and influence. So, let's dive in and discover how actions speak louder than words. Let's take a moment to consider the idea of a triumph gained through argument. Sometimes, we might feel victorious in a debate or disagreement, but what we're actually achieving is more complex. The term Pyrrhic victory is key here. It refers to a win that comes at such a great cost that it might as well be a loss. When we argue just to win, we often stir up resentment and ill will in the other person. These negative feelings can linger much longer and be more damaging than the initial disagreement itself. In fact, the resentment we create can outweigh any temporary change of opinion we might have achieved. This is a critical point because it highlights that winning a debate isn't always the right goal. Sometimes, the emotional cost and the damage to relationships can be far greater than the benefit of a quick victory. Connecting this to our overall theme, it reminds us that effective communication is about understanding and influence, not just winning fights. True influence often involves patience, empathy, and the long-term health of relationships, rather than short-term arguments that might backfire. Let's talk about the power of visual proof. As the saying goes, show, don't tell. When you can demonstrate something visually, it instantly shuts down any opposition. People see the evidence with their own eyes, and that leaves little room for debate. This brings us to the idea that actions are absolute. Demonstrations bypass the ego entirely because they don't rely on words or arguments. When someone witnesses the result firsthand, there's no need for persuasion or convincing. It's just plain fact. Now contrast this with words. Words are often weak, especially when it comes to persuasion. Arguments can sometimes offend the ego, even if you're technically right. When you try to convince someone with words, you risk making them feel stupid or resentful, which can be counterproductive. So, in summary, showing results through actions is far more effective than trying to argue with words. It's about creating undeniable proof that speaks for itself, aligning perfectly with our overall theme of authentic influence and effective communication. Though he was correct in his scientific observations, his argumentative tone came across as dismissive and insulting to the church's intelligence. This approach did not lead to understanding or agreement. Instead, it resulted in serious consequences. Galileo faced a trial, was imprisoned, and his work was censored. He attempted to persuade the Pope about the Copernican theory, which states that Earth orbits the sun, using logic and satire. His goal was to challenge the traditional geocentric view and promote scientific truth. This story highlights a key theme in our presentation: how the clash between new ideas and established authority can lead to conflict. Galileo's transgression was not just about science, it's about challenging power and risking everything to pursue truth. So here we see Michelangelo in action, carefully working on the statue. He climbs the scaffold and gently taps his chisel to drop some dust, which is a subtle way for him to check the surface without making any visible changes to the nose. When he asks, "How is it now?" he's genuinely seeking feedback on his work. The mayor's response, "It is perfect," shows a moment of satisfaction and approval. What's really interesting here is how Michelangelo responds to the mayor's complaint about the nose being too big. Instead of arguing or trying to justify his artistic choices, he simply accepts the feedback. This highlights a key point about the artist's observance, being attentive and adaptable. It also ties into the broader theme of craftsmanship and humility, listening carefully to feedback and making adjustments when necessary, without ego getting in the way. Michelangelo's calm and composed response exemplifies true mastery, confidence combined with openness to critique. Maintaining your composure is really key in any situation where you're under pressure. When you argue, it can often make you look defensive, which isn't the impression you want to give. Instead, taking action demonstrates confidence and shows that you're in control of the situation. People respect that kind of calm, proactive approach. It's also important to remember the power of literal proof. If you believe a building is safe, the best way to prove it is to stand inside it. Similarly, if a strategy is sound, don't just talk about it. Show it by executing a pilot program. That tangible evidence makes your case much stronger. And finally, save your breath. Trying to explain yourself endlessly to someone who's committed to misunderstanding you is usually a waste of energy. Focus on actions and results instead. These keys to power, staying composed, backing up your ideas with proof, and choosing your battles wisely, are crucial in projecting confidence and maintaining control. They're really the backbone of effective leadership and influence. When you need to cover your tracks, engaging someone in a heated, pointless argument can be surprisingly effective. While they're busy debating and focused on the conflict, they might completely miss what you're really up to. This is a classic distraction tactic. Now, the key point here is that verbal argument, surprisingly, has just one vital use: deception. It's not about finding the truth or resolving issues, it's about diverting attention. That's where the concept of the verbal smokescreen comes in. It's like creating a distraction cloud, obscuring your real intentions. And in this context, the reversal is crucial to understand. Instead of using words to clarify or build trust, use them to confuse or mislead. This way, your opponent or observer is kept off balance. So, in the bigger picture, this strategy fits into a broader theme of tactical deception. It's about controlling what others see and think, even when you're secretly maneuvering behind the scenes. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the sources that have inspired this presentation. First, we have this beautiful image of an antique golden key, symbolizing access and unlocking new knowledge. It's sourced from Vecteezy. Then, there's an intriguing photo from Reddit, which adds a modern, social perspective to our theme. Moving on, we see a powerful historical image of Galileo facing the Roman Inquisition, reminding us of the importance of questioning authority and pursuing truth. Next, we have a dynamic shot from Riverside that illustrates communication and storytelling, crucial elements in sharing ideas effectively. Continuing, we return to Vecteezy with a dramatic image of a judge's gavel, representing justice and decision-making. Lastly, there's a striking scene from a chess match, emphasizing strategy, critical thinking, and foresight. These images collectively highlight key themes of discovery, challenge, communication, justice, and strategy, elements that are essential to our overall message. Each source enriches our understanding and underscores the multifaceted nature of our discussion. And here we see the source of our visual inspiration, provided by Freepik.com. The image captures the mesmerizing flow of wavy smoke against a black background, illustrating the dynamic and elusive nature of our topic. This visual reminds us that, just like smoke, ideas and concepts can be fluid, constantly changing, and sometimes hard to pin down. It emphasizes the importance of clarity and focus as we navigate complex information. Remember, in the bigger picture, our goal is to bring order and understanding to these seemingly chaotic elements, much like shaping the smoke into meaningful patterns. This slide ties everything together, leaving us with a visual metaphor for the ongoing process of discovery and insight.